Well, hello everybody. Welcome. Wanted to give a quick shout out and say hello. So if you guys got a second, let me know that you're here, that you're on. Super excited to see you guys. Always awesome to see you. Brandy says she's ready. I should hope so, young lady. Let's bring you on. Hey, Teresa, what's up? You know, it's really cool that I've seen you all in person. Like, it's really exciting now to get to hang out with you guys and see you on this one. That's like there's a connection now. It's like I get to see your name and hear your voice in my head, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Hey, Beverly, what's up? All right, Brandy, let's invite you on. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this all works. We got
Hello.
Hey, young lady, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Welcome to the Mojo.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be good.
It's going to be awesome. All right, let me drop down my sound on my side so I don't get an echo. Good there. So how have you been?
I have been good. Yeah, recovering from no excuses and just hammering down. Yeah, going to work. So it's been good.
I kind of know what that feels like a little bit. You don't see the mess behind me. I'm strategically blocking what's behind right now.
Yeah, I've had that too when I arrived home. So yes, I know.
Yeah, it looks like my office threw up everything NES. That's what it looks like. All right, so you ready to get rocking and rolling?
I'm ready.
Looks like we've got everybody jumping on. They're super excited that you're here. So I'm going to go live on Facebook.
Yeah, I got to share on my page too.
So we should be live right about now, because this is usually when Facebook says you're still trying to think about it, but you're really, truly live.
You really are going.
You are live. So you should be live on our EMP page. So if you want to go check out over there and share out, you're more than welcome. We'll give that a few minutes. I'll catch up with everybody. See how everyone's doing. There's lots of pictures going up. For those of you guys that are asking, the photos from No Excuses are being put up as we speak. They're being converted into some albums. I believe you'll find them on the No Excuses fan page for those that are interested. So pretty excited about that. There's lots of really good pictures from this event. So I'm excited to see it get shared out and see who you guys all start tagging, because that's when the real fun begins. You guys go in and you start tagging each other. It's like crazy mayhem.
Way fun.
Yeah. Amy, yes, this is something you can share on your fan page. So we are live on the Elite Marketing Pro fan page. So if you guys want to head over there, you guys are more than welcome to share it out. Let people know this is coming on. This is gonna be huge. Like, I am super excited to have Brandy here with us, and so we're gonna kick off in just a moment. If you guys are on here, definitely go over, head over to the Elite Marketing Pro page on our fan page, share out. This is going to be pretty darn exciting for sure. I just love this. This is way too much fun. All right. With that being said, let's get started. Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to the Monday Mojo. My name is Chef Katrina, and I'll be your host this evening. I am a speaker and marketing mentor for Elite Marketing Pro and on Offline World of Small Businesses. I am super excited to have our special guest joining us tonight. Just over a year ago, she walked into this event called No Excuses. And she took a leap of faith. She jumped into some mentoring. And a year later, she is knocking my socks off with what she's accomplished. Has been invited into our top-level Invictus membership mentorship group. She is taken by storm. Every time I turn around, I see her name popping up on the leaderboards. She's killing it in sales. She's building her business. I am just super blessed to have her here with us. Brandy, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us here tonight. I really appreciate it.
I'm super excited. It's a pleasure to be invited on the Monday Mojo. I feel like I've won the lottery. I've been super nervous, so I sent out a message to my list, and my kids were just making fun of me before we got on. They're like, "Mom, it's gonna be okay, I promise." So
I promise I don't bite. This is going to be a lot of fun. And first off, like I said, I know you're extremely busy. The fact that you had time to take out today, I know you've got a lot going on with your business. So for those that don't know who you are, can you just kind of give us a little bit of backstory of kind of how you found Elite Marketing Pro, what brought you to us, and where you were at in your business when you decided to make the decision to go to No Excuses last year?
Yes. So about 4 years, I got involved in network marketing, my current company, and I was only taught how to build traditionally. I honestly had no idea that this whole world existed. I ran a salon. I'm a business owner for 22 years, almost 23. That's crazy. But yeah, ran a salon for 23 years. And, I didn't spend a lot of time on the computer. And I know I've said this before, but I barely knew how to turn it on, answer an email, and send pictures to Snapfish. Honestly, like, you guys could talk to my kids, they'll tell you how tech not savvy I was, right? Anyway, so I was doing things the old school way. I live 2.5 hours from anywhere that has more than a Walmart. And so for me to prospect, it was a 5-hour deal. I had a nanny. My husband worked overtime to pay for me to start to build our business. I made a ton of money up front going through my warm market. And then that all fell apart. And now that I look back, it fell apart because people aren't willing to, drive 5 hours. They have jobs and, all these things going on. They don't have husbands that will support them while they're trying to build this. And so my network marketing company fell apart. And I was on Facebook and, along pops a thing about the 5 lies you've been told about network marketing. And it's from Marco Frank. And I have never bought anything on Facebook from somebody that I didn't know. Okay. So it was totally out of the ordinary. I just was like, you know what? I'm going to click on this and I'm going to read it and find out. So I read it and I was like, you know what? What's $27, right? I honestly thought it was a scam. Okay. So that's how I felt when I read, went through, bought it. I was like, they're probably going to steal my money. All this crazy stuff, right? And the only reason why I even did it is because it said it had a 30-day money-back guarantee. And I'm like, well, you buy it, right? If it's not right, then let's hope for the best. And, you could return it. Anyway, I didn't even know how to download the stupid book, right? And so Marco calls me and he's all, hey, I'm just calling to make sure that, you got your book downloaded okay, that you've made an appointment with your coach, all these things. And I'm like, what? Like, I kind of had forgot about it and just like, let it go or whatever. And he's like, your book that you bought. And I was like, oh yeah, I bought a book a couple days ago. And so anyway, he showed me how to download it. Like he walked me through it step by step. And then I made my appointment with my ignition coach, and basically the rest is history. I honestly have been blown away. I thought when I did the free training, I was like, you know what, these people are for real. And I am going to pursue this. I felt like I was going back to college. So, Chef, you could probably pick up the story from there because I didn't know how to do anything. The No Excuses, I actually, because I had went VIP, I seen value in that. I went VIP a couple weeks into purchasing the book and the ignition training, and went to No Excuses because it came with the VIP and it was in San Diego, so I could drive. So I ended up going with Whit and Carrie. They actually went VIP right after I did, and we're in the same. We kind of work together. We're all in the same company, and so we went to No Excuses. We arrived. We couldn't go to the workshop because Whitney couldn't get off work, and so we arrived. I think it was like, I don't even know, 5 a.m. We slept, I don't know, for 2 or 3 hours and got up and went to No Excuses, and our brains like blew off. That's the beginning of the story. So yeah, that's where it starts.
Yeah, I definitely remember meeting you there. You're like, this is just overwhelming. We had no idea what we just walked into for No Excuses. I totally remember that meeting.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I remember walking up to Kate, like if you guys have been in No Excuses just, this last week or whenever we were there, if you feel like your head, like you're still spinning and you don't understand a lot of it, it's okay, because neither did we. This time we felt like we understood most of it. So, there is progression in the way things work. So yeah, I remember walking up to Kate after and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I wanted to move up to the elevation level of, that's what I felt like I needed, honestly, was the mentorship. You're going to learn how to do this online. You got to figure out how to do it right. And so that's what we ended up doing. And I just remember talking to Kate and she's like, I said, what do we do? We do elevation and hire a personal coach and, all this stuff. She's like, yeah, do both. So anyway, that was her advice. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, our whole lives changed from that one decision of buying a $27 book.
It's crazy when you look back at that journey and how much of a hype you thought it was going to be and how I can't believe, I hear that a lot from you guys. Just so you know, I'm not scammy. Okay?
I know, right?
pisses me off every time you guys tell that to me now. Gosh.
I know. And I have people that say that too. And I think just because I think it's because you don't, you don't know when you click on the post, you don't know the person because, you're targeting people you don't know. And I think that's the main thing is, they just don't really know the person. So they feel like, wait a minute, is this real? Could this possibly be real? Is this the answer I've been looking for this whole time? So,
yeah. And I totally get that. I clicked on, magnetic sponsoring almost a decade ago and had the same, viewpoint. I was like, really? This waiter dude's telling me he made it big? Are you kidding me? Like, this is not real. So I get that. It happens, right? That is, one of the things that we do experience that no matter what business you're in, whether it's Elite Marketing Pro or anything, everyone always kind of gets like, you get the same thing. It's a scam. It's a pyramid scheme. I mean, you're going to hear it no matter what you're in. So I just kind of take it with a grain of salt because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So totally amazed by everybody that comes into this program and what they do. So you went to No Excuses. You've been in the mentorship program for Elevation for over a year. You went Invictus just this year. So you spent a year in Elevation, taking your business to the next level. You struggled quite a bit in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
there was a lot of conversations around technology. I don't feel like I can do this. I do remember a lot of that one. So where was that tipping point for you in your business in terms of growth? Like, what did that look like in terms of understanding the technology, being able to start generating those traffic leads? Because you're killing it on the leaderboard and you're growing your business. And that's a question that comes up a lot is how do you use Elite Marketing Pro to recruit for your network marketing business? And you started to really figure that out and start, turning the dials and twisting the knobs and you've got it dialed in. So share a little bit about that.
Okay, so the turning point for me, I guess I just have had a lot of help. I had a lot of friends in the beginning. I have a friend that actually does tech for the Utah State. And so she helped a ton. Obviously, Whit and Carrie have drugged me along. They're like, come on, Brandy, get this figured out. It took 6 months to do a live. Like, we came home from No Excuses, and Whit and Carrie just, jumped into, lives. And I was like, oh, heck no, I am not doing that. There is no way I'm doing that. That's just not me. I just was like, there's no way that I could do a live. That freaked me out. I could do a video because, I could do it 400 times till it was perfect. But to do a live, to actually let people know that, I'm not this perfect person and, I have my own flaws and all this crazy stuff. But yeah, so that the turning point was when I finally decided that YouTube could be my friend. And I honestly YouTube everything. So I'll be like, okay, how do you move a live over to YouTube? Right? I don't know. I just don't know that stuff. I don't know. So I'll find it. If I can't find the answer, I'll find somebody that knows. I've hired people to help me, all these crazy things. Now, for you to take your business from Elite Marketing Pro, now I was confused at first. So I know I get a lot of these questions as well. Okay, so Brandy, you've been, promoting Elite Marketing Pro, you're on the leaderboard consistently, you're doing all these things. And how are you growing your network marketing business? Well, number one, when you talk to people, you ask them if, they're open to looking at what you're doing or if they're happy where they're at. It's the same thing that you're going to, you have conversations with people all the time and, in and out of EMP everywhere. And so I just use the same, the same tactics when I'm speaking with people, are you happy where you are? How long have you been with your company? Do you love it? Are you married to it? You ask all these questions and then, you offer them a solution. If they're not happy where they are, then you can, offer what you have. If they are, then you say, great. Then you go into showing them how to build their business online, which you guys all, should know most of that.
So you've been on the journey, you kind of got the technology. What is your primary platform Facebook for your recruiting?
Yeah, my primary platform for everything is Facebook. I remember Chef saying, just start in one platform. I think a lot of people try to take on, too many platforms at once. I remember her telling us, do one platform until it is profitable and then start to do another. Now, obviously, as you do your videos and move your lives and, do those things, you're going to build your following in YouTube just by accident. That's what's happened to me. I haven't advertised on YouTube or anything. I'm coming after you, Bren. He's going to teach me how eventually. So, but yeah, that's, you just just build on one platform because it's too much. I remember feeling so overwhelmed. So any of you new people that are like VIP feeling so overwhelmed, that was me. Even ask Chef, like I'd call her and be like, am I ever going to get this?
The mindset piece, because we all get stuck, right?
Yeah.
We all get into a place where we don't know if we can do this. There's a lot that's going on. Life comes at us, right? Like life is coming at us, and then we're trying to build on top of that. So there's a lot of times when we're sitting here going, yeah, I'm stuck. Like, I don't know which way, forward, backward, left, or right. And that's usually when you pick up the phone, I get a call, and you're like, okay, I'm help.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. What do I do next?
Yes.
Right. And that's part of your journey around this one. So I love the fact that you took this on. And I really love the fact that you talk about how untech savvy you were. And I love the fact that you talked about that you found resources, either locally, people you knew, right, to help you build. And I think you're actually one of the reasons why we're bringing on for our tech support for Elevation now, because we recognize that was the missing for you guys. And so really working with you and Whit and Heather and Gloria and everybody that's part of the Elevation program right now, one thing we've learned from you guys is definitely the tech support issues, that we can leave you to it, or we can speed up the process and give you a little help along the way. So we've definitely added that element. So thank you for paving the way.
Krista is amazing. She's helped me a ton too. So if you guys are all stuck, tag her in your posts and stuff, but she knows her stuff.
Yep. Well, she's going to be joining our team, cat out of the bag, shortly.
Yay!
So that is something that is coming down the way, because we just, right? Because if anything, I have bad news for you, Brandy. The group coming in right now could move a little bit faster than you did through the system.
I'll just have to run faster to keep ahead of them.
Okay, just so you're aware, just you may have to put on your sprinting shoes now and stay ahead of the game, because I know you're going to be up on stage again for No Excuses next year. I know you've got big plans going on. So I want to dive a little bit into what are you doing on Facebook? I think that's one of the big elements that everyone kind of gets stuck with, is like, what should I be doing now that I've come back from No Excuses? Like, what should I be posting? So what has been your experience? What is working for you? Talk to us a little bit about the strategy you're currently using, if you're open and willing to share that with our community.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So first of all, I with the help of my personal coach, feeling so overwhelmed with everything. He helped me like really dial in a daily action plan. Okay. Cause being a mom of 6, right. You can imagine like the chaos and, just trying to build a business plus everything else that, moms do, as well as, you have errands. For example, my debit card number got stolen and added to someone else's Venmo just like today. So I had to deal with that. I mean, there's all these things, that end up happening. And so I just, I was really frustrated, because what would end up happening is I'm kind of like a really obstinate, hard-headed person. No. And so I will, yeah, for sure. She was like, no, yes. So that's probably why I'm here still, is because I'm just like, you know what? No, I'm not going to let this beat me. But the thing is you have to, what you need to do is really create a daily action plan. Okay. So for one, my daily action plan is to email my list. I do 3 Facebook Lives a week. Okay, so that's not on the list every day. I contact or talk to 3 new people. Okay, and then I think that's pretty much it. So as long as I got those done, then I felt like my business moved forward. Does that make sense? Like, oh, and 1 blog post a week. So a blog post a week that I was, writing a blog post a week, 3 lives a week, email my list, and 3 new people a week. And that's all I focused on day in and day out. Now, if I got home or, from doing whatever and it wasn't done, then I just hurried and, did what I needed to do. Now the Facebook Lives, I did take Chef's advice and got really consistent, as well as Kate. Kate McShay, said, hey, get as consistent as possible. Now, does that always happen? No, life happens, right? So, you have to get consistent. And I don't think that's the number one thing, is people need you to show up. They want you to be there, right? So if you're showing up like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then like you take 4 weeks off, and they're like, oh, then they just forget about you, right? So, you've got to continually show up for people, and you've got to be consistent. Now, if I don't have my own blog written, I share an EMP. Okay, so there's another option for you. I mean, there's plenty of content to share, with people. Just add your affiliate ID, throw up a picture, and put it out for, put some copy on there and put it out for your people. But get consistent. That's the number one thing that I see. And a lot of you that have seen Kate, when she talks about that's what she did in her business at first, she would do things, she'd build on YouTube and then she'd stop building, and then she'd build on Facebook and then she'd stop building. Like, you have to just keep going. And that was probably the number one tip I think that has projected me consistently on the leaderboard, is I continue to stay consistent. So on Facebook, I do paid advertising, and I have an ad that I actually have ran it now for over a year, and I have changed the picture, and it does really well. So, and I have taken Fernie's advice as well, when Fernie says, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? If it continues to work, continue to do it. And what I've done in between while that ad's working is I learn, okay, now what, right? When this backs down and I'm not getting enough leads and sales, do I, double down or, duplicate my ad, or do I, find another custom audience? Do I find a niche that hasn't seen that? So really, like, just taking the time to understand, and to understand your audience and being able to talk to them. I see that a lot too. A lot of us, when we first start, and I remember being like this, so, I can say this, a lot of us are just like, we need money, right? Like, we're like, I need money. I spent all this money on VIP, I need to make money. Like, you start freaking out. And so your natural tendency is to, hey, are you a network marketer that, wants to blah, blah, blah? Well, that's salesy. Are you going to click on that? Because I'm not going to click on that. So I always think, okay, when I'm building an ad, what would I click on? In fact, I've even done this. I've sent, my ad to a couple of my friends and been like, you're a network marketer. Would you click on this? Like, if they won't click on it, then I need to redo something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're to learn the market to message match. Like, you learn what people are going to click on. What would you click on? I think one of my favorite things to do, honestly, is I go to the store, Brandy, and I look at tabloids. And whatever pops out at me, I'm like, oh, that would be a good headline. Like, how can I use that, right?
That's a good tip. I'm going to start doing that.
Right, but they're junk tabloids, right? But they get me to, like, look at them. I'm like, ooh, who's in, like, now you're, like, curious, like, oh, who's in what relationship and what's going on? So one of the fun things to do is actually go and read tabloids and see what the headlines they use that make me want to continue reading. And I'm like, how can I manipulate this into my marketing? Because we talk about it all the time. The only purpose of an ad is to generate a click, right? It has zero purpose. It's not going to make you money, the ad itself. What it's going to do is create the curiosity that gets them to wherever you're taking them, whether it be a piece of content, whether it be an offer, whether it be a lead magnet, whatever it is. The ad is, the only purpose of it is to take them to the next piece. So as much curiosity as you can create around that, much story you can create, the short, sweet, to the point type of an ad, I think, does really well. But there's some other ads that are doing really well out there. So can you talk a little bit about that? I know we've got engagement ads, we've got, conversion ads. They're just wanting to know, what is the difference between all that? You started playing in the world of traffic. So why all these different options on doing Facebook ads, and which ones actually really work?
Right. So I honestly never got a clicks to website ad to work for me. That just was, I don't know why. I tried, and it just seemed like the engagement ads worked better for me. And which, if you're going to use an engagement ad, it is more work, because, you have to talk to the people. It's not just a click and, they go to your blog and then they click. So the engagement ads have always worked really well for me. And then when Fernie taught us how to do conversion ads, that just exploded it that much bigger. I did well with the engagement ad as well, but it just depends on kind of what you're looking for. An engagement ad is about engagement. You want them to, it's not necessarily to get them to go to your blog. It's to engage with you, with your page. And these people that are, looking at your ads and those kind of things, they're looking for somebody that will talk to them. Because, the world, and that's what's different, I think, about what I've done is I'm willing to talk to these people. So, I talk to them, private message them, they message back. Obviously I, message with them, and then I take it offline, which to me offline is like doing a face-to-face talking, on Zoom or, on a phone call or whatever. I had a lady call me today out of nowhere, and she lives in like an hour and a half away from me. And she's like, I found your ad online, and, I want to know how this works. And, talked to her for like 20 minutes, giving her the skinny, and she bought AMF 5 seconds after I sent her the link. It was exactly what she's looking for. So they just got to know there's a person there that, that is part of this, that it's working for them. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. I think one of the biggest secrets, one of the biggest stock points behind EMP is that we have you guys do that. There are so few, because in the reality, guys, we're an affiliate marketing company. Typically, you never know who the person that sold you or who you bought from. Like affiliate marketing, it's usually a ghost, right? No, you're never going to know who you bought or how you bought from somebody. You're just going to end up on somebody's list, and you really don't get the support around that. And I think one of the elements around the culture that we've created and the community we've created is that we do want you reaching out to people, because the education process, right, the bringing the person to the product, I think is what is so key. And it's so relatable to the network marketing industry, right?
Right.
Because when you bring somebody into network marketing, you kind of have to work with them in those beginning phases and get them like used to what's available. And I think that plays a lot into what we do here at Elite Marketing Pro and getting your hands on a traction marketing formula or a social media recruiter or the EMP system. Like all of that is just having somebody there in the background really does make all the difference in the world. It increases conversions like nothing else.
I think number one, too, when you get, leads, I mean, I know a lot of people think that your leads should email you back. My leads don't email me back. I mean, there's very few. I mean, there's some that have questions, or, if one of their boot camp days didn't open, or, whatever. But you send that email out not expecting anything. It's just, here you go. If you need me, this is how you get a hold of me. But when you're talking to your buyers, that's a different conversation. I stopped calling mine. I text mine now. So that may be some of you nobody answers the phone anymore. So I stopped calling. I'm just going to send a text, right? And then those that can't send a text, I send them an email. So, that may be something some of you want to pick up with your, people that are buying, is to be able to connect with them. And that way I actually offer them a 30-minute coaching session, or, I honestly just call it a tour. I'm like, put tour in the subject line so I know, what we're doing. And I just share my story, what EMP's done for me. And I know a lot of you, because this is how I felt, a lot of you probably are like, well, I don't have a story. I've only gotten like 1 or 2 leads. Well, guess what? That's 1 or 2 leads more online than they've ever gotten. So, you just share your story where you're at and what EMP's doing for you. And that seems to help conversions a ton. Probably 50% of my people will do one of those tour calls with me. And it's 30 minutes of my time. And probably 85% of those people will upgrade to VIP.
Because they see the value of it and you've walked them through what they're getting.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of you guys have said, it's like, I don't know where to start. I'm a little bit lost. And so being lost is actually a good thing, because even if you guys are lost and you get somebody on the phone to take them through the tour, they're going to ask questions. And the cool thing is you can actually say, I don't know, but I can find out and email you that answer.
Right. And that's actually better, because then they don't feel like they have to know everything. You can be like, well, there's other people we can ask in the group. In fact, I did this today with a gal that was, confused about how things, worked. And I said, what, this is a great question to put into the group. I answered her question and we brainstormed as well. But I said, hey, post that in the group, because we might need some other perspective about, how other people are doing this. There might be a better way. So, she posted in the group and she got some really great answers. So it's cool to use the groups. Make sure you guys are using the groups.
Yeah. And I am super impressed that from where you guys are now to from where it started with Elite Marketing Pro, it is really cool to know that you guys are answering each other for the first time. Like before, guys, I swear, and Brandy's seen this, I would be literally in the community answering every single question. I was like, it drives me still insane to this day for a question to go unanswered for 24 hours. It's like, I want to rip my hair out of my head. I'm like, how did somebody not answer this?
Right. It's hard I'm sure, you could spend hours to doing, answering questions, but if you go in there and answer just a couple questions, even if you're brand new and how, because I've seen this question, I can't get my products, my book won't open or whatever. I mean, you guys know that, a lot of us have to log in again or log out and, re-log in. So, stuff like that is simple, just answer the question. And that gives you credibility for those other people. So.
Yep. Yeah, empowering people to answer the question. You guys will also notice, too, my request for you guys is never answer the direction directly. Always point them to where they can find the information. I think one of the best things that makes an entrepreneur is their ability to want to discover the answer for themselves. So as much as you want to give it to people, sometimes it works better for them and they'll remember it better if you can point them in the direction of where they need to go to get the information. There's something about taking those step-by-step actions instead of just dropping the link of where they can go find it in the back office. You'll notice I always tell you where you can go to go find it and then make you actually go and take the steps to find it.
Yeah, chef's tough love a lot.
It's called memory, right? And it's called remembering where you and how you got there. Because the worst thing for any of us is like, I saw that somewhere, but I have no idea how to get back to it.
That's how I am. I'm like, I have no idea, but I'll figure it out. Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. So you mentioned that you got some super secret ninja stuff coming, but there was a question in here that I wanted to ask in here. Something, well, definitely address. You can spend a lot of money and see no sales. Is that something you experienced at all during your time in EMP?
Yeah. So I get that. I made a little bit of money up front, but of course I had invested way more just because Whit and Carrie came in, with me. So I obviously made a commission off of that. I think it took me probably, 6 months to get any consistent sort of thing. And then I had a huge dip in my income. In fact, I remember Fernie going, what in the happened, right? Like he was like, what are you doing? And that month I had a lot of stuff going on. I kind of was like, you know what, I'm done for a minute. I just put it away. And I think I made like $200. So I was in the hole. So I get being in the hole. A lot of us are in the hole from, training, advertising, all that stuff. But as you have to look at it, like I said before, you have to look at it like it's an investment. It's an investment in yourself. I honestly looked at it like going back to college. When I went VIP, I didn't expect to get that money back. Honestly, I was like, okay, I can either go to college, right, and go get a marketing degree from somebody that does it in a classroom that makes no money, or I can do it with Elite Marketing Pro and make money as I'm learning, which made more sense, and learning it from somebody that's actually doing it. From people that are actually doing it, that they've built, millions of dollars doing this. And so to me, that was my mindset. I went into it like an education. I didn't go into it thinking, what am I going to get out of this? I knew what I would get out of it eventually. And maybe that's just us as network marketers. I don't know. You put a lot of work into it up front without any pay. And so I think, that was just the mindset I was in. Once I figured out, once I figured out the Elite Marketing Pro was the real deal, that had the training, the mentorship, and guys, nothing can replace mentorship. I promise you. Like, you can fumble around in the dark for years and not get as far as you can get with like standing beside Chef and her saying, okay, do A, do B, do C, and, or go A, B, and C, go find it here. I mean, it just is silly to me that people don't spend more on themselves. You want to make big money, right? But you're not willing to invest big into yourself. So that was huge for me. That's the mindset you need to go into this. It's not about what you're spending. You're actually learning as you're spending that money. You're learning that, you shouldn't expect that money back. It will come back to you. You don't know when, but it will come back to you because of the value you give out to others. And that's honestly when I think the turning point happened for me, is when I just decided, screw it. I don't care about the money anymore. I'm just going to give out as much value as possible, as much value as I owned then, right? And then I would continue to, get more value and give it out to people. And that's when the shift happened. In fact, I just had this conversation with a friend of mine, the law of reciprocity, or however you say that. I get that. So, you give out, and you can only give out so far before it starts attracting. It's crazy. But it's a law. You can't change it. You can't change the law of gravity. You can't change the law of attraction. It's just the way it is. So, stop focusing on the money and focus on the value you can give to others.
And it will come back. I think that was I got the chills just thinking about that, because that was my mindset when I got started. When I didn't have any money, is like I said, if I help enough people get what they want, I will get everything I could ever want.
And more. It's crazy. Yeah. And more that you weren't even expecting. All kinds of doors. You guys, this is so crazy. So I don't know if you know this about me, but I don't like being on stage. Okay, so when I did that contest and I found out I won, that wasn't really a prize, by the way, to be on stage, right? Like I was like, that's not really a prize. That's actually torture. But so I went down before I went to No Excuses. I was in Lake Powell and, you know, made some connections with some people. And my friend has said, you know what? You could teach from stage any person this stuff. It's not just network marketers. It's, you know, she's like, I've been watching your stuff, and she's like, it's crazy. But did you know, like, you know, there's other custom audiences that could benefit from this. So, you know, it opens up all kinds of doors, you know, people asking you to teach their people. Okay, so yeah. So watch out. If you give out value, they're coming after you.
It will happen. I think that was the biggest surprise for me, having had done videos and being out there. And I was getting phone calls and requests to go speak on stages and teach this. I had Toastmasters call me up. I had a Home Business International ask me to, flew me out to Vegas to go speak to home-based business owners in the travel industry on how to use blogging and social media to build their business. Like the ripple effect that got created was totally unexpected. I was like, I wasn't expecting to get asked to go and do speaking engagements based off of what I was teaching inside of Elite Marketing.
Right. Because you know, you think that it's just for you and your business, right? Like you don't understand that it spreads. And, you know, like wildfire, you know, like that ad that I have running, I think there's been over like 800 shares now. So, I mean, that's crazy. So it's craziness. It just continues to, you know, spread to other people.
I love it. So quick question for you from Leon. He hasn't done any Facebook Lives. What do you base your Facebook Lives around? Topics, motivations? Like, what do you kind of do to get that going? That's a great question, by the way.
That is a good question. That was one of my things when I didn't dare do Facebook Lives, when I was being a big pansy about it, is that I didn't feel like I owned enough value. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example, just for an example. Okay, so this little pamphlet, right? It's called One for the Money. It's done by Marvin Ashton. Okay, so I could pay like $1 for this, right? Pretty sure that this isn't new information. This is a debt elimination calendar. Okay, so he's put this little pamphlet together. You could actually read this and teach it to your people if it was, you know, in your wheelhouse of what you know, your audience. If they're looking for, you know, there's network marketing companies out there that do, you know, money and that kind of stuff. You could teach that to people and they would think you're flipping amazing. I'm serious. Like some of the stuff, like, and you know what? I just decided, whatever, I'm just going to do it. Right. And it's so funny. I usually have a kid on top of me, one screaming. There's been gates, like baby gates falling down, you know, whatever. And you know what? People love it. They love it because you're real, and they feel like, you know what? I can do this too. The only reason why my kids aren't on top of me is because I took them to the grandmas. And I told my teenagers if they came in here, I was going to feed them. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Threaten them.
Yeah, threaten them with their lives. They actually, Cole said he was going to come in here and do a dance for you. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
We could always do a surprise dance move. Pusana was asking what book you were sharing, but I think the purpose of that one was it wasn't about the book.
Yeah, it's not about the book. It's just about investing, learning, and teaching. So, you know, you could do anything from No Excuses, Ignition training. Those are fabulous. You could go through Ignition training and do 20 Facebook Lives just in the first 3 modules. I mean, because, you know, you don't want to push a ton of content on them. Like you want to do like 1 to 5 tips on how to do ABC, right? Like, you know, or fixing your mindset around network marketing, or fixing your mindset on, you know, like we just talked about the law of reciprocity, or however you say that. See, I can't even say it, Chef, still. You could do a live on that. You could talk about giving out value to other people and how that is attracting, you know, bringing people to you. So yeah, anything, honestly, anything. When you guys go to your company events, you know, if they have training on, you know, anything like that, like cold prospecting, warm prospecting, you know, you could go on for days. Seriously, I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of notes that you just use your notes and do lives. Fernie's Daily Dose of Awesomes. Yeah, see this right here? This is Fernie's Daily Dose of Awesome. I will be doing a training on this, the whatever he called it today on the Daily Dose. But I wrote notes so that I could keep it and do a daily dose, or, you know, use the daily dose for a live. So yeah, you just put your own spin on it. So, you know, like if I say something and, doing a training and you're like, wow, I could really do that. You take my training, put your own spin on it and spit it back out. That's it.
I love it. So a couple of questions that are coming in. So I'm going to definitely take this time before we dive into some of your ninja secrets you're doing. Jan asked, would you recommend creating a custom audience for a physical therapist, since that is my background? Because you mentioned a little bit about who your audience is and how you're connecting to them. So she wondered, would you create a custom audience for physical therapists?
I would, if that's your target. Like, what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to, bring more physical therapists into what you're doing? Is that what you're looking for? Or, it ultimately has to like match with your purpose. Like, my purpose is to enroll people into my company. So my purpose may be different than your purpose, but yeah, if that's your purpose, then yes, do that. Custom audiences, and you can do people that have watched your videos. If you guys didn't see Kate's training on custom audiences, she did an Insider, I think, right, Chef? Like, it was, I don't know, it's been a month ago, I think, maybe close. Check that out, because she talks about custom audiences, how you can take your videos. So those of you that are doing lives, you can take custom audiences. And if they've seen you on your lives, even for 3 seconds, they're more likely to open your content again. So it makes sense.
I love it. So the question from Julie Clark is, do you find it more productive to put more money into 1 or 2 ads, or less money into several ads?
When I start an ad, most of my budget goes into 1 ad. I usually start my budget, with the ad, and then see how it does. You guys, this is crazy, because you know what? You cannot predict traffic. I'm going to tell you, it's crazy stuff. I ran this ad. Every time I do a new ad with the same one, it takes almost 3 weeks for it to get traction. Okay, so I feel like a lot of us, when we're first starting, we are turning off our ads too soon. Now, that's why you start with a small budget, so you can get the Facebook algorithm going. And then, once it's going, you can duplicate that and add more to your budget. So that's how I do things. It just depends on how, that works for you.
Got it. So Kat's got a great question too. She goes, do you ever do a live on your personal page, share it to your fan page and boost it, or do you just do lives on your fan page and boost it from there?
I don't do lives on my personal page, and I'll tell you why. I went through my personal page before I found Elite Marketing Pro. Every person that I knew, Carrie and I actually had a contest to see who could do it first to go through. We either got a no or a yes. They would look at what we're doing. So since then, I honestly just have used my fan page. I don't use my personal page to build at all, unless somebody contacts me, on there and says, hey, what do you do? I had a lot of people that contacted me after I won that award, because I posted it on my personal page. And a lot of them are like, hey, what do you do again? Like, and it's pretty funny, because, I've showed it all to them and they don't remember. So it's just honestly timing for people, but, just do what works best for you. I know a lot of people that use Julie Burke's, social media recruiter tactics on their personal page, and they do fabulous. In fact, I have friends that do it. Mine, I had just gone through all those people, so I, just don't worry about them. I just work on my fan page. So
I would say the one thing to remember about a fan page is your fan page you can build infinitely.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you can build hundreds of thousands, but if you're using your personal profile page, you're maxed out at 5,000. And then what? Like, how do you continue engaging people when you have no like, you have to get rid of people in order to add people. And I think that's a little bit more of a time waster.
Right.
Than not, because you have to go through and figure out who you're going to get rid of on your page, and then to add new people. So even though you've got the follow aspect, it really does benefit you in the long run, especially if you're going to build a list of 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, million people. You want to be doing that on your fan page as opposed to be doing it on your personal, because you'll never really get that number.
Right. So Jan is asking, you recommend running a likes plus an ad for one of the products at the same time? I do. It depends. Really, honestly, how the ad is doing. If I'm getting over 200 likes a week just with the ad, which is what my ad's doing now, I don't run a likes campaign. But if I'm not getting any likes, then you need to be running a like, especially if you're wanting to build that big audience, like Katrina's saying. You definitely want to always be adding to your fan page new people. So that's my advice, Jen, on that.
Rod's got a question too. He says, when you're new, it seems like the whole internet marketing world is coming at you. It's true. What is the one main thing to focus on?
I would focus on traffic. I would focus on traffic. And once you get good at traffic, and this may not be the answer that a lot of you are looking for, but I got okay at traffic, like running Elite Marketing Pros stuff, like, using their blog posts. But once I really took ownership of my own blog, which, there's a ton of training, there's a ton of things that you can do. You can do guest blogs, things like that. I was not a great writer. You can do video blogs. I know I've used a lot of my Facebook Lives and turned them into blogs. Those do really well. People love those. But once you take ownership of that blog and you're running, so this is how I explain it. Okay, it's your ad, right? So your face, I hope you're using pictures of yourself because they convert better. Your face, your blog, you're talking to them. It's more congruent. Does that make sense? So once I did that, my conversions skyrocketed. And I think, a lot of that, like we talked before, is because I'm willing to talk to the people. In fact, my husband is, he works at the coal mine. And so he's on shift work. So when he's asleep, like, 4 a.m, I'm like under the covers answering messages on my phone. And he's like, are you serious? Like, do you ever stop? So yeah, no, in fact, yeah, somebody asked him the other day, how many hours does she work? All of them? Like, he's like, she's obsessed. And I'm obsessed for a reason. I got to get him out of that stupid job. So we're almost there. We're close. So.
And I think you guys got to realize too that there is going to be an obsession at some point. I think, because I even went through it. I mean, I was like 24/7. You couldn't get me up. I was living and breathing EMP and everything around it. It's not a bad thing. It's just you get to that point, and then once you hit that place where you're at, you can kind of step back, and you're gonna get some help that's gonna be hired on. Probably more than likely, you're gonna kind of start outsourcing some stuff. But there's definitely a grind there. There's a moment, Brandy, you and I both know it, where we're just in the hustle mode, right? You're like, I just want to do this. And I remember that first year, it's like I couldn't, literally, it was like I woke up to Elite Marketing Pro, I went to sleep with Elite Marketing Pro. It was just a constant place to be, and it was fun.
Yeah, it is, and it is fun. That's the thing is I would work like that for days, and then I would crash. So, then I'd be like, okay, then I can only do, what I set for my daily actions. And then I'd go nuts, and then I'd crash, and I'd have to go back. But, like, kids didn't like starve. People weren't naked. I mean, stuff still got done. Nobody freaked out, or anything like that. But yeah, to build that blog. I mean, I remember Nate coming down and, because it was hard for me. I didn't know how to do any of that techie stuff. Honestly, guys, like, it was hard for me. I remember blood, sweat, and tears went into that blog, and he'd come down. I'd been down here probably for 20 hours. He's like, are you ever coming to bed? And I'm like, no. And I would just like sit here and bawl because I couldn't figure out this stupid blog. So I know it's hard, but the faster you get through it, the better off you are.
Yep. So I think Cam Fleming 4, I don't know what your first name is, but I must probably go with Kim, Kathy, or something of the K-man area. She goes, how do you manage calls that come from engagements on your ad? I mean, I have good engagement, it's a good guy, but I get overwhelmed with all the scheduling. So any tips around that?
Yeah. So here's the tip on this. Get a schedule once, hook it to your Google Calendar. Okay. Because I was scheduling all these people because, I wanted to make a story, right? I wanted to make a big splash. So when I first, started doing this, and after a while, a lot of those, I know you probably experience a ton of people like not showing up, like not caring about your time, whatever. If they cannot, so you should have a link with schedule once. You'll get a link and it will say like, meet me, / Brandy Shaver or whatever. So you'll get a link. I send them the link and I say, if you want to know what I'm doing, it's easier for me to show you than it is to try to sit and text back and forth. Are you open to hopping on a video chat? And then, I said, if you are, here's the link, right? Click the link, book an appointment. If they can't even book their own appointment, you don't have time to talk to them. That would be my advice on that. So, because it has cut down. I mean, I was probably doing, last time we were in Chicago or one before LA, I had 15 video chats the day after, and I think probably half of them showed up. And, you spent your day like waiting for people is what you're doing because they're half-hour, slots. And so put like a qualifying funnel in there. I mean, you could even ask these people some questions if you wanted on the Meet Me. You could say, hey, what's your biggest issue? Kind of go through it that way. But if they won't even schedule their appointment, all I do, and when people don't show up, I used to reschedule them. Now I just take their email and I pop them into my boot camp, and I send them a message. I say, hey, I sent you the information. It will come over 10 days. If you have any questions, let me know. So, just because I don't have time to mess around. And there are people, that really have legitimate reasons. If they really want to reschedule, they'll tell you. So that's kind of how I've dealt with it.
And I think that's brilliant. I think the idea of, because you have to own your time. I think that's one thing I've absolutely learned through a lot of the self-development I've taken on, through the leadership training I took on for 7 glorious months and still continue to take on, is if you don't own your calendar, you don't own your time, somebody else will.
True.
So it's really imperative that you guys get a hold of that one and own that. And the schedule once, you guys have seen it for everything from your ignition calls with your coaches. They use schedule once. I use schedule once. I think a majority of us just use it for the flexibility of it. It is paid. There's a couple of out there that you can find that are free, but they're very limited. Like if you're going to be planning, 5 or 6 calls a day, you'll blow through free in like a day.
Right.
So it really does benefit you at the end of the day to pay for it and, make that part of your plan to recoup that investment in those phone calls.
So Lynn is asking, how important are doing a blog and how often do you post your blog? I post 1 blog a week. I tried that blogging every day, like crazy Ray Higdon. I mean, that man's a monster. Seriously, I don't know how he pulls that off. He's flipping amazing. But yeah, I blog once a week. I usually post the blog. It will either be Monday or Tuesday, and you can never figure out what to blog about. You know what? I've been repurposing content. I do a Facebook Live, and then I turn it into a blog. So you post it over on YouTube, and then you pull it back into your blog. If you don't know how to do that, go to YouTube and type in, how do you move a Facebook Live to YouTube? And it will tell you. It's amazing. It's amazing. I have to watch it still every time I do it. So.
Yeah, what I did, I think this is funny, but I actually created a video to remind myself how to do that. When I first got started, I would go and Google that kind of stuff. And then I would redo a video for my team, because then it was coming from me. Right. And I would use that as a way to remind myself, how did I do that again? And I would actually Google my own blog to find out where that video is that I did that showed me how to do that. So it was a reminder for myself because I knew I was going to forget it at some point.
Okay, Kelly says, what's your email marketing strategy? I email my list. I try to email them 5 times a week. I know a lot of the big, the leaders tell us to email them 7 days a week, but that like weeds out your list more. I do a lot of stories. So things that happen in my life. If you haven't got on my email list, Krista actually thinks it's hilarious because, it's just
6 kids. 6 kids, you got a lot going on in your life.
Yeah, you got a lot going on. So, so I use a lot of stories. Like I actually going to write an email about the whole living in a small town thinking everybody is not going to take my money and hook it to their Venmo. So, and then you just turn it into, the offer or whatever. And the funny part about it is if you guys haven't watched, I think his Monday Mojo, he gave you a lot of advice on how to do email marketing and to turn stories. Like he just says, tells the story and then he's like, well, that had nothing to do with what I wanted to share with you. And then he just does his, hey, click here if you want to get more leads or, whatever. So it's just being you, honestly. So don't overthink it. Yeah, see Kelly, she's like, I'm on your list. It's freaking funny. Yeah, it's funny. My life is funny, pretty funny. So
always funny.
Yes, always funny. There's always something funny going on here. Funny or tragic, that's what we have going on in my family. So yeah, I can't email 7 days a week either, Julia. So I do 5. Sometimes I end up doing 3. If I don't get it done, I'll, one time I emailed my list and then it went a week and so then I sent them another. It was actually when I came back from No Excuses, I sent them a thing that said boo, because, I'd been gone. So I did I scare you? Just to be funny, just, to just have conversation. Diane Hockman is another one. If you guys haven't been on her list, she's an amazing copywriter. I've learned a ton. And then Vitali, I read his emails every day. Love his emails. His are really good. And his is just like conversation too. Like it's, it's not like it's hard. You just have to act like you're talking to me or, your mom or, whoever. Talk to a friend when you do this kind of stuff. It makes it easier.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that we started diving into a little bit more with the elevation and the mentorship program is really getting you guys on track around that. Again, I learned a lot working with Brandy and Carrie and Whit and everything of what we could do to tighten up the ship and really get you guys moving forward. So a lot of what you're saying, Brandy, we've actually started putting the structure into place so that they do follow that plan of action. Like, when do you take on your email marketing and actually have like a point of no return where they have to take it on, or else?
Or else, yeah. Chef will beat you.
I will not cook for you. No.
She'll put you through the spanking machine at no excuses.
There was one behind. You guys never saw it. Don't worry. You just never knew. But yeah, there's so much that goes on around this. So before we wrap up, we've got a very few short minutes, and I know you've got some secrets, some ninja stuff that you're doing online right now. Can you kind of quickly tell us what all that is? Because you had me intrigued. I was like, "There's ninja stuff you're doing. What are you doing?"
Yeah, there is ninja stuff coming. Yeah, so I have I've been working. Well, I'm really slow, so it's taking me a long time. But I'm working on throwing out my webinar in the next couple weeks. But I'm pretty excited about it. But the ninja stuff that I've been doing is honestly custom audiences, conversion ads. So the reason why Chef is trying to push you to take over your list is because you can't run conversion ads without have taken over your list. So that would be my first thing for a lot of you. I know I've been pushing some of people that came into Elevation with me, and they're like, wait, how are you doing this? Well, you have to work your butt off, but you get it done and you just take it over. But yeah, the ninja stuff would be custom audiences, honestly. So if you guys have not watched that training with the Insider with Kate and some of the stuff at No Excuses, if you haven't got your recordings from No Excuses, grab those. I'm excited to get mine and go over some of that too. And then there's also an Insider done by Kurt Malley that really changed my business. And it's been, I don't know how long ago that's been, Chef, but it's an Insider as well, right? That's an Insider training we did.
Actually, it is. Kurt Malley did one inside of Insider. I think that was one
time ago. He talked about the ecosystem of your Facebook, or not necessarily just Facebook, your social media ecosystem. Yep. So I have, honestly, that's what I do. And then when I get around these guys, I ask them a million questions. I do. They're probably like, oh my gosh, I wish this chick would leave me alone. But I seriously pick their brains, and then hack everybody's funnel. If you guys haven't figured that out yet, hack their funnel and go do it. Like, sign up for everybody's stuff. Now, I know when you're new, don't sign up for everybody's stuff because you'll be like, but when you want to take over your list, you can start to understand like how, even hack Jeff's just to see how she, structures stuff. Because these guys, she knows what she's doing. Why reinvent the wheel and why sit and torture yourself? Like, really, like, when you're ready to take over your lists and stuff. But my main ninja secret, honestly, is to just make sure you're consistent. So that is, that I know that sounds really boring, right? That's not very sexy. Just be consistent, because you guys hear that all the time. But that is the secret. I'm telling you, that is really the secret. Amy,
so there's a couple questions around the list element, right? So when do you take over your list? That's always the number one question.
You need to take it over before if you're asking this question, it's time for you to take over your list. Okay, because I waited. I was a big baby. In fact, Carrie had to punch me in the face again and say, take over your list. Like, she's had to boss me around through the whole thing. So just quit being a baby about it and start with step number one, right? To take over your list is you have to take over part of your funnel. So you have to build blog. So your step number one is to get the blog built and then add the blog posts. So don't try to take over the list and do all this crazy stuff at once. Like, one thing at a time, right? Because you can't do it all. You'll make yourself nuts. I've tried it. It doesn't work.
Not a good plan.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Not.
I know. I'll give you guys a secret. So this is Brandy. This is something new we added for our fast track members. So we actually do what we call the 90-day game with the 30-day action plan. So in the first 90 days of those that are joining us in Elevation that are getting in here. So the 90-day game plan is to take over your AMF funnel. But part of that game plan is to build your Facebook audience at the same time. So we strategically now have you take a 30-day plan of action, right? What are your 30-day commitments? And in that, we have you basically now build your Facebook definitely through posting, through doing your Facebook Lives. We have you then take a look at the content you're creating. We look at taking over the AMF funnel. And in order to do that, you must be taking over your Page Creator Pro. So your second month is getting to learn how to do Page Creator Pro. Your third month is taking over the AMF funnel. Your fourth month is starting to write blog content. Your fifth month is email follow-up. Then we start building out your website. So we actually have a plan of action that's ridiculously crazy now to get you guys where you can't be like Brandy and stall and drag your feet for 6 months. Like we don't even allow it anymore.
It's not even allowed.
It's not even allowed.
Just do it. That's the thing. I would focus on one thing. And I know a lot of people do this, but you make a list of what needs to be done, that next day, and you just do it, right? And it doesn't always get done, right? Then you just add it to the list for the next day. And if it doesn't get done, add it to the list to the next day. But you need 3 things that you get done daily. 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So make sure there's at least 3 because, obviously if you're not getting anything done, your business isn't moving forward. So you have to, and it sucks at first. I'm going to tell you right now, it sucks because you feel overwhelmed, right? You're like, oh my gosh, my brain's going to blow off. You feel totally overwhelmed that you don't know how, especially if you were me or you're not tech savvy because yeah.
You and I have the same story because I came from a kitchen. I could literally burn food, play with fire, and have a blast. But if you put me in front of a computer, it was like I knew how to turn on a computer, I knew how to check my Outlook mail, and I knew how to Google recipes.
Yeah, well, I still struggle. Yeah, I still struggle because I have a coaching calendar now and a regular calendar for my stuff. And I can't figure out how to hook the 2 of them together. So you guys, you don't have to know how to do most of this stuff to make money. That's my thing. Like when people are like, why, how do you do this? I'm like, I don't know. I just make money. So that's what you just have to, I don't know. I'm just going to make money. So you just go do it.
You know what it is, Brandy? It's not that we have to be technologically savvy. It's the fact that we're like, I just want to help people.
Yeah.
So
it's taking action. Yeah.
I'm willing to train. I'm willing to show people what to do. And I'll figure it out along the way. And it's going to look ugly. I'm going to jack it up. So Brandy, I probably never told you, but I bootstrapped a webinar. Like I couldn't afford how to build a webinar.
I love it.
I got my website up. I embedded a Google Hangout, literally a Google Hangout, and I sent people to the website. And then if they had questions, I sent them to my Facebook page to ask me questions.
It worked, right? You made money.
So it looks something like we're looking at right now where there's 2 people on the screen and then there was a chat, but the chat took place on Facebook completely off the website. And then the website posted. Look, I mean, it was so ugly. And everyone was like, if you can do this, so can I. And I was like, it's bad. It was horrible.
Yep. So, yep. Seriously, I don't even know what a Google Hangout is. Oh, yeah, Kelly. You don't need that. Yeah, we're past that now. Way past Google.
Zoom is good.
Yeah, Zoom is good.
Yeah, Kelly, I will tell you this. Get on my calendar because we haven't chatted in a while, so we need to catch up. Because she's like, I'm 6 months in. We need to push you off the ledge.
Yeah, Kelly, it's time to jump. You gotta jump.
Yeah, we gotta push off the ledge. Get on my calendar. You're waiting too long.
My motto is jump and figure out how to build the plane on the way down. So
that's what we all do. None of us have a clue what we're doing when we jump off. So I would tell you stories about Elite Marketing Pro that would have you all rolling from back.
I've heard some of these stories. Yeah, these stories are funny. You guys have to get an elevation just so you can hear some of the stories.
Oh my! If you knew how Elite Marketing Pro really began when they launched their first, it was actually a product when it first launched. The stories that Tim Irway shares and Matt Crystal and Andrew. And at the time, Nick Hobner was with us. They were literally locked in a room for like 4 days. They were their own customer support. They were calling people trying to close them into the product back in the day. These guys didn't sleep for hours. It was funny. It was the stories I could tell you guys about what they did and have not done. It would literally have you guys on the ground in tears. It's been
the great thing about building online is that the people that you screwed up with, they're going to get off your list because they're like, this chick is nuts, and then you're going to get better, right? And then those people are going to stay and help you build a business. So
they'll be your biggest advocate behind it. Like they'll be like cheering you on for screwing up. They're like, oh my, actually I had that happen. So you're doing your webinar, Brandy, coming up? My first webinar, I screwed it up so badly that somebody actually bought because of the fact they said, well, it was so real. Like, you totally screwed it up. I could see myself doing that, so I want to buy your course. And I was like, you're kidding me, right? Like, I screwed that up completely. Like, I couldn't get somebody on to do their testimonial. They're like, because you screwed up so badly, we bought your course. Because we knew how real you'd be inside the training. I was like,
yep, that's, you just roll with it.
You can screw it up all you want. Those that are going to enjoy it are going to hang around and be with you forever. It's going to be awesome.
I love it. That's funny.
So the last thing I want to add in for those of you that are new Fast Track members. So one thing Brandy will tell you is that we definitely take care of you guys. This isn't like a cattle herding service. We don't just dump you in and then have you go on your own. So we are in the process of making sure everybody is squared away. You're going to have your welcome call. You're going to have your call with me. Just know that we are taking care of you. We're getting everybody through as fast as humanly possible, but we don't want to cattle herd you.
Right.
That's not the point of mentorship. This is mentorship, and it's not just a coaching where we're just trying to put you into the system. This is truly a more intimate experience.
Yeah, and you guys, make sure you're taking advantage of it. The thing that I see that's super sad is that, you enroll in VIP or you enroll in acceleration or elevation, and then you don't take advantage of what you've paid for. Okay, so like there's VIP calls every week. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I learn more from watching those and the elevation, webinars, all of those things, just to consume that and then get into action. So, that's sad to me that you've paid that kind of money and then not take advantage of it. I mean, I know people do that all the time, Chef, right? Like they buy stuff and they don't do anything with it. Like I have a book from Brendan Burchard, but if I spent that kind of money on VIP or, elevation, I mean, I have friends that were in elevation when we started and they just kind of went away. Like they're gone. Like, really? Craziness. So yeah, take advantage, just dive in. I remember consuming everything possible, but also focus on Elite Marketing Pro. Okay. Don't go over here and do, Mike Dillard or, this or that or whatever, because it doesn't matter how many things you buy. If you don't take any action, you're not going to get anywhere. So don't get that shiny object syndrome. That's happened to a lot of us.
Oh yeah. I've seen it more times than you can count.
Yeah. So, and it's hard. So if you're just doing Facebook and, Fernie's doing a training on YouTube, don't get on it. Just do Facebook stuff. Just Facebook traffic. Just focus on what you're doing. Because then you start that whole, okay, well, let's, go figure out what Fernie said to do YouTube. Okay, so because there's different people in the community and they do different social media platforms. So, there's different trainings, but just focus on what you've decided to do and build it until it's profitable.
Yeah. That's like I told Brandy, you got to pick one platform, master it until you're producing the leads and the results that you want. And then once that's under your belt, you can look at another platform, because then it's easy to kind of transition what you know to a new platform where you're going to have to learn a whole new mindset. Like if you go over to YouTube, it's a completely different, look, feel of how you're building. If you're going over to Twitter, it's different. If you're going to YouTube, it's different. If you're going to Pinterest, it's different. Every platform has a different nuance, and the amount of time you spend trying to learn that instead of just focusing on one and mastering it literally takes you out of your business. It takes you out of your game faster than anything else. I know Scott loves you.
Scott's funny.
He is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are just past the hour, and I know you've got a lot going on. I know you've sent the kids away. I'm waiting for Cole to run into the room and dance.
He said he was going to. Cole, ready for your dance. You're ready for your dance. These people that are watching live Fire Talk.
We're on Fire Talk. We're on Facebook. You're going to be on YouTube shortly.
You're going to be
famous. You'll be a phenom.
Come on. Oh, here they come.
Uh-oh.
They're going to do their dance. Hang on.
We're going to get a dance at the end.
They want to see you.
Do we get music too?
Now they're scared. See, here's some of these people that I own.
Hey guys. He's like, no, don't show me.
Don't show me. My daughter, oh, there she is. She took off running. She will never be on camera. She's naughty. Unless it's her, posting all over.
She's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, we have a good time. So it's fun.
So awesome. Well, again, thank you, Brandy, so much for being on with us. This has been an absolute
Hey, so many.
whole family.
Yeah, see, now they'll see.
Yes.
Yep. The little ones are gone, though, because they're naughty.
Don't worry, your mom's being viewed by about 200, 300 people. So if you guys are on here, you're on Facebook too. There's people seeing you all over the place. And then you're going to end up on YouTube, which means we're just going to give you some more. So your faces are going to be all over the place. So don't worry, you'll be fine. We'll make you viral before you know it.
Yep, you'll be famous. Well, thanks, Chef, for the opportunity to share. I hope everybody got some good value out of it. So I hope that helps.
Absolutely.
Get busy.
Yeah, so we'll see you in a couple of months, I'm sure, at the next live event that we're going to be having. So thank you again for all the work you do, for being amazing. This training was awesome. You got rave reviews on Facebook over here, too. You can't even see what's going on, but they love you.
Great.
So thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your passion around this business. And I look forward to seeing you real soon.
Thanks, Chef. See you guys. Bye-bye.